Good morning, everybody. It is my privilege to welcome you all to the second episode of Drishtikon, a series where insights are shared that power leadership. Hi, my name is Soumya. I am from Digital India Bhashini Division. I will be moderating this session today. Today we have with us Mr. Amitabh Nag, Digital India, CEO, Digital India Bhashini Division and Director India AI, whose insights will help us set us the tone for what promises to be an inspiring and impactful journey. In this session, we will get insights from Sir on how to apply, how to innovate, and how to get ready for the upcoming hackathons. So it is an honor to listen from you, the insights, the key points, and inside the key points about Bhashini powered hackathons. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for all who have joined in this session. And it's a Saturday morning, and I appreciate all of you to spend time today in this particular session, which is related to the various innovation challenges and hackathon, which we are progressively putting across. A few of the innovation challenges have been launched about a month and a half back. Then we followed it up with a lot of social media, discussions. But right now we are trying to ensure that when we are submitting the proposals, these are aligned to the various aspects which we are looking at. So first, a general hygiene factor which I would like to put across is that what we are trying to do and our motive and objective is to build a language inclusive society. And when we are trying to do that, we are trying to actually keep a persona in mind, which is on ground, trying to execute what he has or she has been asked to do. And hence, it is important that the technologies which we are progressively putting across on Bhashini portal is utilized for your system and the products, because merely putting something into the system or some technology into the system will not help us to achieve the end objective, and end objective being multifold. First is of course to look at how we are able to look at people who are on the other side of language, digital or literacy divide. So that means there is a persona, there is voice, which plays an important factor, and way the person interacts with the system is very important. And we need to actually simulate or emulate the interactions in our system, and the journey, the voice journey needs to be very uh, you know uh, very well defined and well thought through. And hence I would look at I would urge all of you to look at that particular aspect very well. The second important aspect which we have said, and as I said, that you should look at Bhashini portal and the services which are there. It's important to look at the latest technologies which we would have put across, which is you know especially on the voice front, regarding voice activity detection, profanity filter, automatic language detection, speaker ID, speaker diarization, besides the automatic speech recognition. Obviously we are also looking at inverse text normalization. These all features, or these all APIs which are available, should be used. And hence, against a hackathon, I would encourage you to generate separate API keys so that we are able to help you better, because each of the hackathon has a very different subject matter, and the API keys might need customization to give accurate translation. And hence, another part which I have been seeing, and which is what I have not observed, is the participants trying to get in touch with us and expressing their challenges with respect to models or otherwise, which is not happening, which has been a concern for us. And there is, since we are observing that, we are continuously looking at whether we should, you know, uh, conclude or how we should go about the entire innovation challenge, because it is very important for us to get a working scalable product out of this, because the prize money is sufficiently large. Having said that, this is something which is basic, very critical. And if you are facing some challenges, Swati would put across on the comment section the email ID on which you should be writing and interacting very, very closely to see that your development and your journey to this particular participation is not limited to the to whatever we are talking about in terms of technology or in terms of exposure or in terms of domain knowledge. So that's one. Second important aspect which I would like to put across today into with everyone here who are there is that the two problem statements on the Leap hackathon, and thereafter about 3 plus 2 plus 1 6 problem statements which we had launched as different innovation challenges slash hackathons later, should be viewed with a very, very honeycomb, right? The Leap hackathon which we had a very specific unique case, which was related to a information officer, the investigation officer going across to the crime scene and then trying to transcribe what he is basically seeing and then putting it across and integrating with the what is called as the CCTNS system. There are going to be interfaces which will be discussed later after the when people have been shortlisted. But my entire thing which was there is that you should be in a position to actually make this interface very well. The system works. We had done some prototypes around it, but we are now looking at a very extensive, well thought through process persona. And you have to imagine a persona which is there for the police officers here. The second problem statement, which was basically, looking at multilingual assistance tool for police services, essentially via various mechanisms, and we have not bound you with various mechanisms as what should be the interface, but you need to come up with an idea where we should basically look at how does the police services, speech to text and again the entire system getting back to the person who is asking a question, saying that this is what it means or this is what it is. We should be basically working on that particular aspect very closely and very well. One more thing which we see often is that we are looking at AI, building AI. We are not looking at from these things as a a system by which you use some products around it and try to build something. It has to be a very, very strong foundation. So the in some cases you might use a rack pipeline, which is okay, but it has to be essentially open sourced or custom built. And if you should basically, these are very narrow applications. So if you're using LLM, there has to be a very strong reason for that. Means I would essentially and encourage you to build systems ground up rather than using the products which are there. You can use some open source tools or utilities, but these all products essentially will be open sourced. There will not be a, we should not try to use something proprietary. We should not try to use something which is very, very, it's basically, use LLM and then try to come at answer. It is not going to work here. So be very clear about it. Be very clear about the tools and stack which you're using. And of course, as I said, Bhashini is the most important component of this particular system. So that covers the Leap Hackathon. We are extending the dates. We have got about a good number of registrations, but not all of them have applied for generation of API keys. Mind you, after screening, we would give you another chance for this, And essentially, if you don't do that at that point in time, your entry may be considered invalid and we will not evaluate you further. So this is very, very straight and strong, thing for you. You need to look at the website and figure out how to generate it, or otherwise write to the email which is given out there. The second thing which we were talking about again, which was the innovation challenge slash hackathon launched, in the beginning of this month, and there were three of them. They were looking at a very specific activities of, voice journeys for specific problem statement. We are looking at how, minutes of meeting can be generated via the conversation, right? So it is very essential that you guys look at it, and the conversation can be multilingual, and it can be transcribed into the system for seamless communications across. So again, we we intend looking for using all the technologies which are present on the Bhashini portal, and then trying to come up with a solution. We do understand that there will be some issues somewhere, but we would like to hear from you and then try to rectify them, and then try to, during the evaluation and the product build up stage, try to assist you to build that out. But essentially, this is looking at a minutes of meeting, the way we are talking right now on a video conference. uh, if you have to minute this, then there is a transcription which is required, and overall, if we have a summarization engine, or minutes of meeting builder, which can be a kind of AI tool at the background, we should be in a position to build that. So that is the one of the problem statement which we are trying to put up. The second problem statement, which was basically related to CV builder, we are looking at some of the blue collar worker coming to the machine and saying what they have done till now, and the CV builds up automatically. This is an integration with the My Bharat portal. So you need to closely look at My Bharat portal CV, what is there, the form which is there, and then try to make this across. I'm looking at a person, if I use Hindi as my multilingual thing, I'm looking at a person that मेरा नाम रविंदर है, मैं 11वीं कक्षा का पास आउट हूँ, मैं 12वीं कक्षा में भी पढ़ रहा हूँ, साथ में मैं ड्राइवर की नौकरी भी करता हूँ, बीच में मेरे एजुकेशन में थोड़ा ब्रेक आया था, 8वीं कक्षा में 1 साल के लिए मैंने ब्रेक लिया था. All of this he just speaks out, and then the CV gets built up, and it starts also picking up the specific softer side of the candidate or a person as what is to be done. Okay, so this is a very important tool. We are looking at deploying it across on My Bharat for about 30 crores youths who are supposed to be looking at this particular system. Then we have, a speech. The Central Information Commission has a second appeal filing. Now, obviously, the second appeal filing is with many other regulatory slash other organizations as well. So obviously, once this tool is built, it is basically for usage at other places. We would like you to actually go through the CIC portal and then look at how the second appeal is filed. One of the most important aspect on the appeal filing is the challenge of categorization, so that it goes to the right person in the government system, and then your appeal and your action is done properly. So look at what kind of algorithms you will be developing, and again, bottom line, don't try to do a shortcut using LLM and prompt engineering, because that will not work here. The second hackathon which was launched, this was a startup velocity, where we are basically looking at agnostic problems which can be sorted out by or used by any one of the people. The domain information innovation challenge is actually for two specific domains. One is of healthcare, where we are looking at the doctor and patient talking as if they are talking normally. Doctor is investigating, discussing in a multilingual fashion, and it is a transcription by which the EHR or the form gets filled in, and the prescription is generated automatically and is read out to the patient in his own or her own language. It's a we intend deploying it across the hospitals where an ICU hospital is being used, and then it will be ported across to multiple places. So advice is that you should basically look at OPD thing and then start looking at how to go about it. You need to use speaker identification and language identification for that. Both the patient and the doctor's conversation is first transcribed. Then there has to be some kind of a engine applied to actually build this up into the forms. And some of the problems of accent and noise, etc., it will be solved as we go by, because you would be in a position, you would need to give us a feedback on what is your challenge. And as long as your product and your logic is right, we will be able to help you there. And then we are looking at over-the-counter service. Over-the-counter service can be an inquiry booth in railway station, it can be at metro, it can be at airline, it can be at visa counter. We are looking at that the over-the-counter discussion is multilingual and without any language barrier. And we have not restricted you, but if you see, and some of you have seen some things which are there in Japan or otherwise, there is also a bit of hardware which is there, where the transcription is and translation is actually posted out. You may want to look at that, but over means the idea is to look at how do we actually get over this particular thing. Again, using API keys and working on this idea is very, very important. Look at that, and then take, we should basically move forward on this particular idea as well. The third hackathon or innovation challenge which we launched was a very unique challenge. It was basically preserving a script as well as trying to solve the problem which is there in the Bihar government. And we are looking at Bhashini Sanrakshan. Sanrakshan is preservation. The Kethi script is to be, preserved and also to be utilized for further, reading the land records which are there. And this is, OCR thing. The OCR model is not available. One of you have applied for the, API keys. This is not available. The model has to be built ground up. You should see, and there is dataset creation and labeling as a part of this challenge. So you should be, worried about that and try to figure out how to get that data, because this data and this thing would be available at few places. So you need to come back if you have a OCR capability, but you don't have the data which is there. So we should be in a position to give you the specific sources which are having this data, but work on it is my point. Again, very important that you are looking at all the steps. You are looking at, models which can be there. There are some open source models which are around for this. If it is open source, CC by 4 or MIT license, you can use that and build further on that. But don't use any, closed license products and then try to say that I built it in this license, and then nothing can work around that. So these are the innovation challenges which we have put, which will go in for evaluation. We will be happy to pick up questions and answer them either now or offline. But the idea is to consistently ensure that you, as a participant for this innovation challenge and hackathon, are in a position to work this out. Okay. I'm happy to take one or two questions right now, and otherwise we would be looking at happy participation. and looking forward to a good number of responses because the more you respond or the more you participate, you would be sharpening your skills for participation. Of course, there would be wins and losses, but then there is a chance that there is a time when everybody will have multiple businesses to work for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the valuable address and giving a deeper understanding on the challenges. I would request the participants to raise their hands if they have any questions. We have two of the participants. Okay. Sharan Darshan, you may go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, what doubt I have is except than the Bhashini API that we have, these OpenAI APIs, Gemini APIs, Claude ones cannot be used, right? Or could we use that too, sir?
No, you cannot, and you need to need not participate if you're using those,
Okay,
because we have been very clear in our document that this is what is to be used.
okay, got it, sir. Thank you.
There's another, Amrita FBD. Amrita, you may ask your question now.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Kamal Bijlani from Amrita University, and we had two questions. So, if we have an open source LLM, right? There are several LLMs starting from, let's say, even Llama and many varieties of that. And if we customize that, is that okay? That's the first question.
As I said in my presentation talk, that eh, we generally are not happy if you're using a LLM to sort this out, because at the end of the day, LLMs have limited data and they are bound to fail after some time unless and until there is a constant training and constant data upgradation which happens to them. So we would look at from your side solutions which are which are more thought through in terms of ground up thing. And then if it is required that you're not able to do anything from LLM, then you are supposed to take up that. One of the major reasons why we are looking at not looking at LLM in this kind of a scenario is that it is extremely expensive to run that for a small queries. So every query passing through a LLM is not an ideal situation. That definitely is a no go, right? You need to use custom developed RAG pipeline. You need to use FAQs. You need to use multiple things to actually ensure that you are in a position to and pick up things which are much better, right? And
Sure, sure.
and there are obviously things which you expect other people to do, right? When the system is there, there is a kind of PPR also happens. So there will be some constraints or some way of behaving would put in. But like for example, if there is a certain way of looking at the patient doctor communication is there, we perhaps can look at prompting doctors that have you asked all of these questions, and those questions can be used to actually put some data into the system. But definitely and very definitely, we are not looking at making it uh, LLM heavy or GPU heavy for every queries, because otherwise it would be very easy for anyone to take it.
Right, right. So,
Not averse to LLM, but not only the solution should not be only LLM. We would very critically evaluate why and where are you using LLM if you are using it.
okay, okay, got it, got it.
And
And
the more frugal you are, see there are means if I look at say minutes of meeting for example, and So there are summarization engines which are not requiring LLMs, right? Which can be used. So look at some things which are very frugal, are not very expensive from a compute perspective. Otherwise, it will not be used, or it will be if it is used, then it is going to be very very expensive for the user or a client organization.
Right, right. Okay, okay. So basically, minimize the use even of open source LLMs and only use it when absolutely necessary. I think
Yeah,
that's
you need to give reasons for that.
okay. Okay, got it. And if we are building like a live chat, we have some concerns about the existing latency of the API, right? Because if I'm talking to you, if the delay is more than 3, 4, 5 seconds, then it impacts the live thing. So, but for that we are totally depend. We should only depend on Bhashini, right? There's nothing
Yeah.
else we can do, right?
So the engineering which we one of the things which we would want to do is to with the successful participant engineer the system so that the latency is reduced. And a reduction of latency can be through various mechanisms, which we will discuss with the vendor. But if you are giving me a 2 or 3 second lag by which you are able to transmit what is I am doing, I am happy with it. Anything under said 10 seconds is a happy situation, because we know how to improve the 10 second to 1 second.
Okay, got that. And similar thing with accuracy also, sir.
Yeah,
The
so you would very well know that for all language we don't have the digital data for all languages which we are targeting to build, and but our target is also that no language is left behind, right?
right,
Given both
right.
these things, we will face challenges on accuracy, and in fact that becomes a bouncing board to for us to improve the data collection. And the issue which is means today, when we have deployed across the states, multiple locations, multiple places, the deployments have given us a very very strong confidence on the accuracy perspective. But having said that, the complacency is not the way to go about it. We should be basically very critically examining every use case, and then trying to see if that use case is deficient. In that particular use case, the model is deficient of data or deficient of training, because of which it is showing some inaccuracies. So then, we go for a targeted improvement of accuracy for that particular use case. But yes, we are looking at, probably, Hindi, English, everybody will do fine. And the accuracies will not be a challenge, but accuracy would be a challenge in Nepalese or Bodo or other languages, which we would be able to rectify as we go forward.
Sure,
We are
sure.
energizing the language universities and other places to ensure that we receive supports to improve the accuracy.
Sure. Our early feedback would be that we were using a whole bunch of other APIs, even commercial ones like whatever Google, Azure, and so on, Whisper, etc. And in general, the accuracy for Indian languages of Bhashini is quite good, the accuracy.
See,
But the
and see,
latency is
at
a
the
bit
end of
high.
the day,
Is
at
a bit
the
high,
end of
sir.
the day, we are expecting you to build a technical solution. You are not a language expert who can comment on accuracy, right? You can give some pointers, but that essentially does not mean that key it is there. So, from an accuracy perspective, we would have language experts to evaluate it, and that is not going to hinder your qualification or disqualification. We will be able to figure out that how much of what API you are using, how much of latency it is being giving through our system, through the network, through everything. I think you know that those tools are available. And we would be basically focusing on the user journey which you have taken. We would be focusing on the persona mapping up which you have taken. right? And then trying to evaluate you. So if you are looking at a over-the-counter system, for example, and you have taken a person, you have developed it for a persona, which is basically, a rural person coming and doing it, and then that user journey is built up, then we will be happy to actually see that rest of the things fall in place. So it's at the end of the day a very collaborative effort to make things work, rather than saying that you are responsible for whatever you are doing. But we are looking at engineering perspectives, which are actually bringing in voice engineering, bringing in user journeys, bringing in personas. Have you studied the persona well? Have you actually got a persona and do the do the trial so that it makes sense for them?
Sure, sure. Got it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
anyone else?
I believe there's one Gunjan Shaha who raised their hand, and I think Gunjan, do you have any questions? You're not raising your hand anymore. Gunjan, you can speak up now. I believe the person is not there
Hello,
anymore.
am
Yeah.
I audible?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
audible, Gunjan. Please go ahead. Yeah, please ask your question. Gunjan, are we audible to you?
I think what you can put a comment on this, Swati, so that he can ask the question offline, because
Hello,
he is
sir.
not.
I think it's happening because of the latency, but
Hmm.
I have like mere not technical question because we have just registered there in the Bhashini website, and uh, we had the question like, what is the timeline? Because uh, like we are working on the problem right now, so before and we haven't applied for the API yet because right now we are working on it. So we wanted to know about the timeline, so we are better prepared before we
So,
actually
so there
apply.
are you should no. We are not basically trying to say that you apply it straight away. What we are saying is that you apply when you are actually building up the solution, so that we know how you are using the system and how it is utilized. So there is no time frame for that, but yes, when you go for first evaluation, this is one of the first questions which will be asked. So we are not prompting you to do it at the idea submission stage or application submission stage. If you apply for it and start working on it, you would be better prepared as what our submission is.
I think that's it for Gunjan. Gunjan, if you have any question, you can write us on the email mentioned in the chat box. Is there anyone else who have any questions? They can raise their hand. I think that's it for all the participants. Don't think there's any more questions. So
Yes, so
yes, sir.
yeah, so Soumya, just to once again get the ground rules clear. Number one is apply for it enthusiastically. Number two, use the infrastructure which government is providing. Number three is that take it as a collaborative effort rather than trying to say that I will do everything. And we are looking for a technical solution, and not looking at improving the language domains per se. And that is job of language experts, and that is job of creators, because you are not excepting for the Kethi language script, you are not building any models here. So look for and you will be if you're as Bhashini is organizing this hackathon or innovation challenge, you would be on the same plane as other people are, right? Accepting your engineering aspect or application development aspect or the way you have imagined the persona or way you have developed the use case and user journey. So focus on that is my submission. Good luck for your endeavor for this particular hackathon because we will be looking at closing the thing soon and getting onto the evaluation phase.
Thank you, sir. I would like to express our gratitude to you for your valuable insights, the continuous support to the initiative. I hope that all the participants have got the deeper understanding on the challenges under the problem statements of all the hackathons, along with o- the overcoming of the language barrier using the Bhashini API. I hope this would encourage our audience to explore the Bhashini API, register to hackathons, and begin building solutions that can truly make a difference. While we are concluding, thank you once again to all of you, and we look forward to your continued involvement in this transformative journey. Thank you.
Thank you.